There we go. All right. I am joined today by my two coaches. So we have Assistant Director of Forensics, Janine Whitesell, and also our other coach, our new coach for this semester, Zachary Waters. Janine, introduce yourself to the folks.
Okay, well, I'm like Douglas, I'm a full-time faculty member at the college. I teach multiple Comm 1 sections plus intercultural, interpersonal, and at times argumentation and debate and group communication. I've been coaching on and off since, long before any of you were born. I think before Douglas was born, I think even. So I come in, I do it for a while, then we have other coaches that come in and I cycle out, and then I come back in and I've cycled out. So I've been the director, I've been in Douglas's shoes where I've been kind of the person in charge that makes the decisions on, where the team goes and, who goes to state nationals, et cetera. So now I'm the role of assistant director or assistant to the director, to use kind of the office terminology. I'm not sure what else. I like Douglas, we coach a variety of events. I also recruit heavily from my classes, and I'm actually pretty specific. I'm pretty picky, especially with online classes. It's been an interesting journey to kind of try to find people that I think would be interested in, because it's easier for people to sort of disappear when they're on Zoom. So, but I'm looking forward to this year. It was, odd and refreshing to have a year off, but I'm ready to get back into it and coach. And the thing I really like about forensics is your learning curve for good communication skills just skyrockets. I mean, it's, what you've done in class, if you've been in a Comm 1 or Comm 6 class, over time will improve. When you do this activity, all of a sudden you're launched into like, oh my gosh, I'm actually quite good now in a short amount of time. And it's exciting to watch that growth from the coaching perspective. So this is where I get a lot of my enrichment for teaching, is working one-on-ones with students and going to tournaments and seeing them succeed and get trophies. And if they don't succeed, then we learn how to lose gracefully, and we go back and we work harder, and then we win. It's kind of what we do. So that's what I got for today. So
Zachary.
So my name is Zachary Waters. I'm a recent graduate from San Francisco State University with a communications major and a minor in media literacy. I've been competing with forensics since 2018, so a little over 4 years there. And most recently, I was awarded 7th in the nation for my dramatic interpretation. Interpretation of literature there. So this will be my second year helping out coaching with Solano, and Solano is where I started my journey with forensics. And I'm really looking forward to pay it forward and, help everybody, that was where I was just a few short years ago. And, I'm really excited about forensics and speech and debate. It helps you to be a better person. And these are really skills just in a short amount of time that you can take with you for the rest of your life. So yeah, happy to be here.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Zach. Right now, let's find out who we have a part of Comm 50. So if you can please introduce yourself with your major, any weird skills you have, and what you hope to gain from doing this. Janine and I have been trying to get you to be a part of the team. So what do you hope to gain from being a part of this activity? So once again, name, major, weird skills you have, and what you hope to gain from this activity. Let's get started first with Eric.
Testing 1, 2. I think I had some mic issues. It sounds good. Can you hear me? Okay, wonderful. Great. Hi, so my name is Eric Randall. My major is biology right now. I guess weird skills. That's actually an interesting question, because I don't think I have anything like super weird. I do like doing outdoorsy things, but I wouldn't really call that weird. I guess weird for the pandemic, just because, we've been stuck inside. But other than that, I'm very happy to be here, and I hope to gain, just valuable speech skills. I used to do public speaking for the Air Force, actually, for quite some time. They chose me as their speaker to do certain events and things of that sort. So I would really want to just refine those skills, and, it's great to be here.
Awesome. What shirt are you wearing today, may I ask, Eric?
Zion National Park.
All right,
Ah,
cool.
yay.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, let's go to Nia.
Uh, Hi, my name is Mia. I'm currently in for liberal arts, but I may switch it to probably theater arts instead. Uh, I forgot the rest of the questions.
Weird skill that you have, and also what you hope to gain from being a part of the speech and debate team.
A weird skill I have in general is that I'm double jointed. And I also found another weird thing. My jaw is really weird, so one side's bigger than the other.
Hmm.
I found that recently. And what I hope to gain from this is that I improve my speech because I've been in speech almost through elementary school since I've been born to middle school because I've been diagnosed with autism.
Hmm.
So I hope to improve my speech along with this and talk to new people.
All right, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nia. Let's go to Hannah.
Hi everyone, my name is Hannah. My major is communications. A weird skill is the only thing I think I can think of right now is that I'm fully functioning after like 4 days of jaw surgery, and I'm on like some really high pain medicine.
Hmm.
So we're doing that. We're figuring that out.
Okay, okay.
And then I hope to gain some more skills in debate. It's not really my strong suit in communication. And I feel like just kind of diving into something that I'm not good at is really going to help me kind of stand out and like enhance my skills.
All right, thank you so much, Hannah. Let's go to Julian.
Hey everyone, my name is Julian. You guys can call me Juju if you want, might be easier to remember. I am a business major right now at Solano, so this will be my last semester before I'm able to transfer. A weird skill that I have, I can gleek on command, and I am 6'3", 6 foot 3 inches, and I could flip my body over. You would think
Oh,
that I'd
wow.
probably be doing basketball or something along those terms, but I chose to do more of like the gymnastics and dance realm. So I think some skills that I want to be able to obtain is just more of like a natural kind of tone when I'm speaking. I mean, I speak in front of kids and large groups of people every day for work, but and I tell the kids all the time too, like if you're not a little bit nervous, that means that you're not alive, right? You're not worried about what you're going to say. But I think when it comes to school, I definitely have a disconnect when it comes to confidence compared to like when I'm speaking to the children. So yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Juju. Gabby.
Hello. So my major is communications. I'm interested in investigative journalism. I guess I'm not sure if it's like weird, but I like to roller skate in the house to like loud music. um, and then this class, so like I'm really interested in just like gaining more confidence. I noticed how much more confident I felt over the last semester in Dr. Munjan's debate class. So I'm really excited. And also, something that I noticed in last semester was just how much more driven I felt in my research. And I really enjoyed the research I was doing and like I felt motivated. And so I'm just really excited to see how much more I can develop all of that.
All right. Janine, you want to call out the next person? I think we have.
I think it's Aaliyah's the next one, and then Haley.
All right, cool.
Yeah. So Aaliyah.
Hi guys, I'm Alea. I'm majoring in psychology at the moment. A weird skill, I can't really think of any. I guess like something not everyone does is like I was my high school's band's drum major, so I can like spin and toss the stick around and stuff. I was a dancer for a few years, so there's that kind of helped me gain some confidence being in front of people. So in this class, I want to work on my public speaking, obviously. Like I'm a cashier And I'm the manager, so I have to like deal with talking to people all the time, and I want to be able to keep myself composed because I do have anxiety, and I want to work on that when talking to other people.
Hey, thank you so much, Alea. And then I think the last person we have is Haley. Welcome aboard. So right now we are introducing ourselves. So introduce yourself. What is your major, weird talents that you have, and what do you hope to gain by being a part of this team, the speech and debate team this year?
So hi, I'm Haley. A little late because of work. You said, let's see, my major right now is history, I think, but I'm changing it to English. A weird skill I have, I can fingerspell the sign language alphabet, but then any foods I know like 3 food words, and then that's basically it. So I can't hold a conversation, but like I could spell my name, I think. Um, and then I hope to get, I don't know, better at public speaking in general, and build my confidence, I guess, and try some new things. Like this is a very new thing for me. I almost did not want to do it because public speaking itself was so scary, but I think it'll be good.
All right. Thank you all. You might not know this by now, but I think you're absolutely brilliant, all of you who are here today, or else I wouldn't have invited you. So I know that you are wanting to gain those skills and that confidence, and that's the one thing that we really try to get out of this team by the end of your career. If it's 3 weeks to a semester to a year to 2 years, that's the one thing that you are going to gain, is that confidence in your voice, the confidence in yourself. So I'm excited to be a part of that journey with you all. All right, so today I wanted to discuss some of the logistics of the course. So every Tuesday and Thursday, we meet here from 1:45 to 2:15. So this will be our session where we kind of like get our, like the meet and greet stuff. We understand kind of the basics. This is where I will talk about information that you need to know, but a majority of the work will take place with our coaches. So it's very much like a track and field team where you pick an event, and then we have a coach that specializes in that event, and they work with you throughout the week to get you ready for tournaments. And so you'll have a couple of days to look at some of the documents that I'm going to be posting up on the course Canvas page, and try to get a gist of like, all right, these are the events I kind of want to do. And then we will assign you a coach that works with your time, and then you'll begin to work on those events leading up to our very first tournaments of the year. So we go to tournaments, y'all. Well, digitally right now, virtually right now, but hopefully in the spring semester, we will be going to physical tournaments. So for instead of like our normal public speaking class where you have multiple speeches throughout the semester and you have to continue to change your topics, for this, for speech and debate, you pick a topic and you just work on that topic all year long. So instead of changing your topics over and over again, you get to really focus on that topic and do the research and make that speech better. So it's not like you're constantly changing and have to do a lot of work on the side. You're doing consistent work with topics that you become an expert on as the semester progresses. And so if you're a person who does like platform events like informative speaking or persuasive speaking, you'll have that same topic throughout the semester. If you're doing debate, unfortunately, you won't know your topic until 40 minutes before your round, but we will practice with you to get ready for those events. And if you're doing a interpretation event, which is competitive acting, you'll be working on that same script throughout the entire semester. And so we'll talk a little bit today about the different events that you can pick, but start to think, so when we start to go over these events, start to think, all right, this is what I want to try out first. You are all brand new students, so experiment. This is the time to experiment early on. And if an event doesn't work, just move on to the next event. But I want to start off first with Janine. Could you describe platform events for the students? I know that some of you were here for our early meet and greets, but for those that are just coming in, could you describe platform events for us really quick?
Sure. The easiest way to think of what a platform event is probably what you've done in a Comm 1 class. So we have informative speaking, which is where you're just telling the audience something new and significant. Those topics tend to be, but don't have to be, fairly technology heavy. So Eric, I think we had talked earlier about an informative on, was it gut bacteria we were looking at? Am I remembering that correctly?
I believe we were talking about gut bacteria.
For like a possible informative. No, they're now, for example, they're linking gut bacteria to, Alzheimer's. They're linking brain cholesterol to Alzheimer's. So, and that's all new cutting edge stuff. So many times it's a topic that it's got to be new and significant for the audience. And of course, technology topics are almost always significant because they impact our lives fairly significantly. So it could be something about, pollution cleanup, some new technology or innovation. There's a big range. And of course, there's other topics that don't have to be as tech heavy, but there's something really significant because the judge is going to say, well, you got 8 to 10 minutes. Tell me basically why I should vote for your topic over somebody else's. And so then there's a sales pitch quality to those topics. But for the most part, if you've all taken Comm 1, you probably understand the basics of the informative speech, which is simply to create an understanding with a topic nobody knows anything about. Persuasion, on the other hand, says this is really significant and this is why you should care. So it not only influences how an audience or the judge is going to think, it also tells them how they need to feel about the topic. And that's like a big difference between informative and persuasive. So, an informative speech on 3D printing, which was popular and new back in the 2013, 2014, with 3D printing of body parts and 3D printing of other things. That was like, oh, wow, it's really, really cool. But it wasn't asking the audience to, we need legislation that supports this, or, you need to go out and get a 3D printer. There was nothing like that. But there are other topics like one that one of our students did right before lockdown when we were working all semester, all year on that. One of the students did one on the incarceration of youth that are people of color. So, what happens to the 14, 15, 16-year-old that's, Black or Latinx, and how are they treated as opposed to a white youth that's being incarcerated? And the numbers are staggering and discouraging. And so her point was to say, this is what's happening. So there's the kind of aha moment, but then, and here's how you should feel. You should feel like crap right now. And so then as a judge, it's like, oh, wow, that's terrible. What can I do? And then the student then gives me a solution. So it's really based on kind of a problem solution format, which also makes it kind of inherently more persuasive than it is informative. So those are the two main platforms. And then we've got some other ones. We have one called Speech to Entertain, which I know that Eric, you did that in my class. I don't know if the others of you have did in your class. I don't know if Zach, if Evangeline East did it in their class, but it's a speech that's designed to be funny. And what it does is it takes either an informative or persuasive structure and then kind of pokes fun at that particular topic. So obviously there are topics that would not work as a speech to entertain. You wouldn't talk about school shootings, for example, not funny. You wouldn't talk about other, racial injustice issues. There's no way to make that funny. And if you did,
I disagree, Janine. I disagree.
Okay. Douglas and I think, have different styles of humor, but okay. You could probably take racial injustice and run it as a sarcastic, persuasive, or sarcastic informative. But usually you're looking at a topic and you're just looking at it a humorous way. So for example, millennials would be one where, there's an informative there, but there's also, you can poke fun at millennials. What are the traits of millennials, and, what are their success rates in life, and, what are their, unique, features. So that then becomes a little more, the idea is to make the judge laugh or look at something in a humorous way, as opposed to going, oh, wow, that's really important. So that's like the third platform. The last platform is a really interesting event for those of you that are comm studies majors. This is one of those events where you learn how to write papers. So when you transfer to a university, it'll be, oh, piece of cake. I've been doing this for like 2 years already, where you take an artifact and you take a theory and you explain how this artifact is working with a particular theory. For example, one topic that might possibly be a communication analysis would be the fact that in the United States, we have a lot of different Dear Abby, advice columnists. So it's, Miss Manners, it's Dear Abby, it's Ask Amy. There's like a whole Ask Caroline. There's like a whole bunch of different ones of, my boyfriend did this, and, I'm feeling really uncomfortable. What should I do? That's a phenomenon that is almost uniquely in the United States. And so it might be that a person could take a theory about advice or about sounding boards. I mean, there's all new theory coming out all the time. This is where Douglas and Zach and I can help you find theory. And you said, this is why it works so well, is because through this lens, we can see that people are asking for advice because they just want confirmation of what they're going to do anyway. So maybe we find a theory about how advice seeking is really confirmation bias, and so then you apply it, you go, wow, that's why it's so popular. It's because people already know the answer. They just want to throw it out there to an expert and then get the feedback that whether they like it or not, they're going to do their own thing. It could be song lyrics. It could be a slogan from a campaign. You could look at a whole movement. You could look at what happened in summer of 2020 with the peaceful protests for George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. There are theories that deal specifically with protest rhetoric. You could look at the anti-mask, coalition and look at what is it about, what theory can we use to explain why that works. So the purpose of a CA isn't to say that something's right or wrong. It's to simply say, this is why it seems to be effective for a particular audience. So it really is, it's a fascinating event, but it gets, kind of talked down on because there is theory there. But if you're a comm major, this is wildly important to take this, but probably it would be what I would consider, I think Douglas might consider this too, and also Zach, this might be your second, your third, or your fourth event, but not necessarily your first event. Your first event might be in novice, informative, persuasive, maybe speech to entertain, and then of course, limited preparation events, which Douglas, you're not considering those as platform, are you?
No, I am not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those are the platforms.
Yeah, so limited preparation events are the events that you probably didn't do too much in your Commo 1 or Commo 6 classes. They're things like extemporaneous speaking and an impromptu speaking. So impromptu speaking is where for all of those who have a little bit of knowledge about a lot of things, where this comes in handy. So if you are a person who just knows about everything, but you're not necessarily an expert on anything, this is your event. So you are given a quotation and your job is to make sense of that quotation. You'll have 2 minutes to get a quotation and then you will interpret it. So there's some underlying message or meaning of life that all of us can get out of this quotation. And then you'll present examples of this quotation or this interpretation in action. So you'll say like, oh, this reminds me of this, and this reminds me of this historical thing, or this reminds me of this theory that I've been learning about in class. And so it's your opportunity to, within 2 minutes, take this really random quotation and then connect the dots to a lot of different experiences and examples that we can all relate to. And and it's a 5-minute speech. And so it's the most, it's the best party trick you can ever have, where you can BS your way in any conversation and seem like the most brilliant person in the room. So it's one of my favorite events. Another event for those who are really into current events and politics, it's called extemporaneous speaking. So you'll get 30 minutes. They'll give you a question about some current event that's happening. So was the United States response to get out of Afghanistan the correct decision? And you'll have 30 minutes to do research on the spot and craft a 7-minute speech in favor of or against that particular question. So you're either confirming it or denying it. And so you'll pick about 7 different sources, and I'll teach you how to do quick research, and you'll know a lot about this topic, and then you'll have 3 main points to break down that particular issue. And sometimes it's about economics, sometimes it could be about wildfires in California, but it's a really fun event, especially for those who keep up with the news or who just want to know a little bit more about the world. And so this event really forces you to like push yourself to know more about those events. So that is limited preparation. They are a lot of fun. They're super scary at first, but once you get into them, like it's one of the coolest events that you can do. And to actually like, as a person, you get the most out of it in terms of limited preparation. Zach, could you talk a little bit about interpretation events or competitive acting?
Yes. So competitive acting is a perfect way to describe it. Interpretation events are usually 8 to 10 minutes in length. And that also includes your intro. So what you're going to do is you're going to have your piece that you're going to be memorizing and say performing and acting out. And then you do have a 90 seconds to 2-minute intro that you're going to be associating that piece to a wider issue. So for example, one of the pieces I did was about a degenerate gambling addict. I don't know if anybody saw Uncut Gems, kind of would remind you of that a little bit. But anywho, I associated that to just a argument about addiction in general, right? Now, interpretation of literature is an umbrella event, umbrella term. And beneath that, we have, let's see, 5 different events here. So, and they're all a little bit specific as far as the source material for the piece. So you have dramatic interpretation. And dramatic interpretation, it needs to be sourced from something that's already been pre-recorded. So that can be stand-up comedy routines, film, television, theater acting, what have you, television interviews, anything that's already been recorded. And then you can put your own, twist on that. You have prose interpretation, which is strictly written. So I always like to say, not that I would ever probably see Old Man in the Sea, but Old Man in the Sea is a good example of like prose. It's just a short, solid story, short narrative that you can go ahead and again put your own twist and acting spin on that. Then you have poetry interpretation. Now, poetry interpretation is usually a collage, or what we like to call a splice of different poetry pieces, right? Because a small poem isn't going to make that 8 to 10 minute time frame. So what you're going to do there is you're going to get multiple poems associated to the same topic, and then colorfully, put them together to make one solid narrative. And then you have POI, programmed oral interpretation, which is essentially a combination of those first 3. So it's some poetry in there, some prose material, and then some already recorded dramatic interpretation material. And then lastly, but not least, we have duo, which duo is what it sounds like. It's it's an interpretation event with 2 people bouncing back and forth, and we see single narratives with those as well as spliced programs. So the sky's the limit with duo. So does that answer all the questions?
Yeah, that's great. And then the very final set of events are debates. So we do a team debate and one-on-one debate. We'll talk a little bit more about debate on on Thursday, but you'll be given 40 minutes to craft a case in which you and your 20 to 30 minutes to craft a case with you and your partner, and you guys will debate. So if you've ever taken Comm 06, it follows the very same structure that we did in that class, where you're either the affirmative or negative, coming up with arguments in support of your position. And for one-on-one debate, it's called, what is it called? IPDA. What is that?
IPDA.
Yeah, individual something. I forget.
Yeah, public debates,
public debate.
like individual or
it's
international.
it's more of a it's debate for folks who are learning how to debate. So we will, if you're interested in debate, that will be the event that we put you in first. It's a really fun debate. It's very similar to our value debates that we did in our class, where you're given an overall topic and then you would have to come up with evidence and do some research, and you'll have 40 minutes to craft your case. But those are the events for speech and debate. As you can see, there are 13 events. It is a lot to think about. So we do want you guys to spend the next couple of days. So if you can go to the course Canvas shell tonight, there's a couple of different things that I want you to do. So the very first thing is go to the team manual that will describe all of the events for you. You can find that in one of the modules on our homepage. Number 2, there's a discussion that's going to ask you for what times you have available to meet with coaches. So if you can carve out about an hour to 2 hours a week to meet with a coach, and we can fit around your time. So that's the beauty of this. So if you get off of work at 5, probably Janine or I, or if Zach is willing, we can meet with you during that time period that you're off of work, or early in the morning. So it's just really up to you. We really want to make this work for you guys. And then secondly, figure out what kind of events you're interested in. So if there is an event that immediately like struck out to you, where it's like, oh yes, that sounds really cool and interesting, bring that idea on Thursday, and then we can discuss the next steps for you to get ready for that event. And at any time you feel like you're not like, you know what, it's not really sticking with me, we can always put you into another event, and that is a-okay. All right, so are there any questions that you might all have or were afraid to ask before today? No. All right, so I'm giving you a fair warning. We are going to be utilizing a lot of lingo and words that you might have absolutely no idea what the hell we're talking about. So at any time we start to talk lingo at you, just say, I need you to stop, explain what this is, because I know for me, I go way too fast. So if you are a person who has no idea where this conversation is going, just say stop and let me know. And also, if you are a person who's really into a subject right now or a topic and you really want to delve into it, let us know, and we can help you craft a speech topic based upon that. Because if your heart is in it, then more than likely, like, that's going to be an event that you're going to pour your heart and soul into for the rest of the semester. So let us help you craft that into the event that can, you know, like, so it could be as powerful as it needs to be. But outside of that, get some rest, y'all. One of the big things that I really stress on this team is passing your classes. So I know this is the very first week of the semester. You are all feeling overwhelmed. This summer seemed like it was only 3 weeks long. So make sure to focus on your classes. We are going to try to work with you to make this as easy as possible. This is your cake. You know, you do all the hard work in your classes to get to here, where you get to utilize those skills and do it in a really fun way. So think of this as your dessert for the semester. And then we go to tournaments, y'all. So this year we're going to go to 4 tournaments. They're all online, but we are going to meet in person if you guys are all okay with that. So we'll meet at the Solano campus and we will compete together. We'll have all of the different rooms on campus set up for us. We have maintenance who are going to sanitize all of the rooms, etc., to really get a team dynamic. I know that because of COVID, the only people we see are our coworkers, our family members, and we haven't really gotten a chance to be with people our own age and students and really have that connection. So I'm really going to work hard to make sure that we are a team and that you can get that, you know, that element out of this experience. It's really fun to compete together. It's really fun to cheer each other on. And that's what we really want to stress this semester. In the storm that is COVID and quarantine, this can hopefully be like that bright spot for all of you. So start thinking about topics, start thinking about events, and then on Thursday, let's start to get to work, y'all. All right, that is it. I'm not going to keep y'all for too long. It is a Tuesday on the first day of school. Y'all are done. And I am too. So get some ice cream, do whatever you need to do. And I will see you all on Thursday. Catch y'all later.
Good. Nice meeting everybody. See you on Thursday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you.
Zach and Janine, if you guys
Take
can
care.
hold back for a sec.
Yeah.
All right, that's our squad. And we
All
have
right.
2 more, we have 3 more
Couple
people
more.
who have signed up too that aren't here today. So 1 second.